I'm Wyatt Cash with Scoop News Group, and we're here at FedScoop's ITModTalks with Susan Wedge, Managing Partner, U.S. Public and Federal Market Leader at IBM Consulting. Susan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Wyatt.
So just to set the stage a little, we're a little bit more than a year into the Biden administration now. And in that time, where have you seen some of the greatest progress in IT modernization in the federal government?
One of the things I've seen, Wyatt, is that overall agencies are thinking more holistically about their modernization journeys. They're rethinking and reimagining the way services are delivered end to end, and they're placing mission outcomes and customer experiences at the heart of design, while then applying the appropriate technologies to enable those outcomes and those experiences. One of the good examples I've seen is some work we've done with the Department of Veterans Affairs. The mission of the Veterans Benefit Administration is to provide benefits and services to the veterans and their families in a responsive, timely, and compassionate manner. And VBA leveraged automation in a platform as a service model to address what had been historically very manually intensive processes. And the result of that automation was both better outcomes and better experiences. Activities that used to take months are now done in hours, and that's allowed the VA to apply their talent to higher value activities. So it's really been a great success from an IT modernization standpoint, delivering both those new outcomes and those new experiences.
So diving a little deeper, how has IT modernization also helped federal agencies get a better handle on securing their most valuable systems?
I think that the release of the cyber executive order last summer, the recent release of the federal zero trust strategy, with those two, federal agencies are accelerating progress in these areas. The adoption of technology platforms where security is built in as a core component or core offering has really enabled that acceleration to occur. The other thing I would add is that agencies are incorporating the concept of DevSecOps into their daily operations, right? So they're pulling together their customers, their developers, the security professionals to work as a team throughout the process of service delivery. And I think that's also provided an advantage. And then lastly, I'd say that agencies are using technologies such as artificial intelligence and hybrid cloud solutions specifically for cyber defense. So that's helping the cyber teams provide real-time situational awareness, identification of anomalous patterns of behavior, and then being able to respond quickly to vulnerabilities or potential threats. So I think it's been a full spectrum of activities that are helping them secure the most valuable systems.
And then shifting gears a little bit, the White House also issued an executive order on customer experience. And so I'd be interested in your thoughts about, how federal agencies have taken concrete steps to deliver better digital services to the American citizens.
I think we've seen a few shifts in this area, both in response to the executive order, as well as a number of things that agencies were doing in parallel as well. Agencies are increasingly conscious of placing the customer at the center of the design of services at the outset, right? It's not an afterthought. It happens at the core of service design. And they're constantly improving their services through customer feedback and looking at those customer metrics throughout the process. What we've seen is even if a service is delivered with speed, it achieves whatever the outcome may be. Customer expectations are really only met when the customer is treated with human empathy, concern, and respect throughout that interaction. So some of the leading agencies are using co-creation activities with their customers when developing those services to make sure that they're meeting customer expectations. The other thing that we're seeing leading agencies do is providing customers with multi-channel access to additional help when automation or technology-enabled processes don't address their particular circumstance in the service delivery process.
Well, and then finally, Susan, I know you have kind of a wide-ranging view of what's happening in the federal government, and I'd be interested to hear, lastly, what across the federal IT landscape stands out to you as having the biggest potential or maybe the need for modernization in the coming years?
I think today we're seeing agencies discuss what I'd say are both current and emerging technologies on how and how those are applied to enable mission delivery, protect against threats and mitigate against those threats. And the space is constantly evolving, and it's a focus on, or balance rather, of both the near term and the long term. In the near term, I think the greatest advances we're seeing are in the areas of artificial intelligence and hybrid cloud technologies. As we look a little bit further over the technologies or over the time horizon, we're seeing technologies such as quantum computing, advanced identity management, the use of cryptocurrencies. And so agencies are constantly having to balance both that near term, how do we apply technologies now, while also looking at the future to say, what does that future landscape look like? So I think those would be the ones I'd select.
Well, some great points. And as always, Susan, thank you so much for taking some time to join us and really sharing some of your insights on how IT modernization is unfolding in the federal government.
Thanks, Wyatt. It was my pleasure to be here today.
Great. And look for more of our coverage on IT modernization on fedscoop.com. This is Wyatt Cash. Thanks for tuning in.